Have you gone ahead to look for a house this year, 2026? Have you made inquiries as to how much it costs to rent a self-contained? The prices are flying over the rooftop and you're wondering, Shebi is self-contained, it's not duplex ni. Why are you asking me to pay close to 700,000, 1 million naira just to get a duplex? Things are happening, but don't worry, we'll decipher it together. Welcome to Serenity TV once again. My name is Faith Martins, and of course, I'm your darling here on television, or maybe not. Whichever the case may be, I'm just really glad that we get to do this again. Today, we're going to be discussing one of the problems that is affecting us Nigerians. I know people, in the other side of the climate are probably experiencing this, but let's talk about us. Let's bring it home to Nigeria. One of the problems that I know it must have affected you, a family member, a friend, someone you sure must have been affected by it. Don't worry, I'll bring it to speed. For now, I would like to introduce my guest. My guest in the studio to discuss this conversation or this topic with me is no other person than Chimezie Ebosie. Did I get that correctly?
Ebosie, right? So people have issues with pronouncing my name, so it's Chimezie Ebosie.
That's what I said.
Okay.
That was not what I said.
All right. All right, thank you so much. I'm Chimezie Ebosie, and I'm so much delighted to be here with you.
It's such an honor to have you. Now, this guy works with budgets. You don't want to tell them where you work.
Okay, so all right, so I'm a civic tech advocate. I work for a civic tech organization called Budget. So what do we do at Budget? The word budget is gotten from the word budget. So the ET at the end of budget as is IT. So we use information technology to track government projects, government budgets. I'm also a human rights advocate. I'm also involved in research and I do many other things.
You are involved in lots of things. And I really like that for you, honestly. If there is something that I follow you on LinkedIn, and one of the things that really, really sits well for me is how accurate you are with your statistics. That makes sense.
Thank you.
And to see a youth doing all of these things, I'm proud of you. Not like I'm not a youth myself. Now, let's bring the conversation back. We're going to be speaking on housing. The housing system in Nigeria is literally breaking backs. Lots of people have been complaining for a very long time. And right now, it doesn't seem as though it is stopping anytime soon. There's no, time for you to even breathe in. I was having a conversation with one of my colleagues recently. So there's this house that they stay in. I know the house because, when they moved into the house, I went there to check the house and all of that. And it's a 2-bedroom, right? Yeah, it's a 2-bedroom flat around student area. Around, what's it called? What's the name of this place? Shaba Gates, right? And that house, when they got in, was around 600, 700K. And then it was just last year that they got in. As of this year, what's it called? I don't know if they called them the caretaker or the manager, reached out to them and told everybody living in that compound that they are going to now start paying 1 million naira. From 700,000 to 1 million naira.
Okay.
Right? And now 1 million naira, and they were like, oh, okay, fine, no wahala. Only for the guy to go ahead and add an extra money, 200,000. Now, 1 million naira they told them 1 million naira by December. Now, by January, he reached out to this man and said, give me your account number. Let me pay in the 1 million naira. Only for this man to tell him that landlord don't increase money. Rent, your rent now 1.2 million naira. And the guy he has gone bonkers. He was like, what do you mean by that? Why would you take it from 1 million naira to 1.2 million naira? What happened? What revelation did the landlord see at night that made him just, increase the price? Now, this is one amongst thousands of stories of people who are literally being frustrated by the housing system in Nigeria. Have you experienced that? What do you think is going on?
All right, and thank you. And just like you mentioned, the issue of housing has been, it's been going on for years, right?
Yeah.
If online people have been complaining, if you're very active on X on Twitter, you see how people have been saying rent. And the shocking thing is that when they want to increase this rent, it's a 100% increase.
Yeah.
You mentioned the person, they were paying 600, now they're paying 1.2. That's 100% increase from what we were paying the last time. So if you notice here in Owerri, I saw a video on TikTok. Some students were protesting. Imo State University students were protesting the hike in hostel fees, right? So so it's an issue, and I think the government needs to rise up to the occasion. So we've seen how not sometimes it may not even be landlord, right? But then I wouldn't want to defend them. Now, why I would like to start with why are these houses increasing? Why is there increase in house rent?
Yeah.
So I think generally in Nigeria, there have been increase in price of goods and services, right? I mean, inflation has been on the high side.
Okay.
On X, because I like referring to X. I'm always active on X. I don't know if there's a guy that did something. He posted a receipt of what he bought in 2015.
Yeah.
And he went back to the supermarket to buy the thing again in
it's
2020.
around 100 and something thousand
Increase, right? So you see how price of stuff have gone over the roof. So that's even 2015. That's like 10 years back. In 2 years back, 3 years back, things we are not the same, right? So so it's understandable that inflation has gone over the roof, right? So people might want to increase the cost of their services so that they'll be able to meet up, right? I used to have this conversation with one of those days I went to the market to buy Ogo. And okay, one of the shocks I had when I moved back to Imo State, because I was based in Port Harcourt before I moved back to in 2024. I went to the market to buy vegetable known as Ogo. I couldn't find Ogo of 200 naira. It was 500 and above, right? I'm like, man, so why is Ogo that expensive? You're like dollar now. Like, so how does dollar affect
you would wonder.
Yes, but then it actually, if you actually look at it, it affects, right? Sorry, I'm digressing, because it may not really affect her, because but she might need to buy another goods that dollar affects. For instance, she might want to go and buy a phone, which phones are imported. If the phone was selling for 80,000 before, the phone could be selling for 200,000 before. So if she was selling her Ogo for 200, if she continues selling that 200 naira Ogo, she will not be, if she wants to buy any other product that's dollar affects, she will not be able to buy. She will need to increase her own price so that she can buy. So that's still relates to housing, right? So landlords go to the market, they buy goods and services. So the money they were earning from their houses, their rents may not be enough for them to get what they want to get. But like I said, I am not defending them, because I mean it is too much. I had an experience recently. I went to look for a house recently around Owala side, Owerri North, towards the local government council, where you have the Owerri North local government council, and I saw a house that was newly built. A one bedroom apartment. It was going for 1 million naira.
Where's this place located again?
Owelu.
Where's that?
If you're good towards the local government council side, right? So yeah, the place is quite developed, because they've started the road from Oji Junction to Toronto. So the place is opening up. But I'm like, why would the house here be going for 1 million 1 million naira, right? And people have already packed in. They've not finished the house. People have already packed in. That's not just the problem. So the rent was 1 million naira. The agreement fee was I think, is it 200,000? The caution fee was 100,000. Then the agency fee was 150,000. So that everything came about 1,450,000 naira.
Almost 1.5.
Almost 1.5. So the rent is already 1 million. Then the extra charges that come with it is almost half of the price of the house, right? So I mean, if you're in Owerri, you know that if you've actually looked for a house, you know that in the agent email, like if you've really looked for a house, and you've walked through agent, and so I think it's also something the government needs to, maybe as time goes on, we'll bring the conversation in on what the government can do to curtail. So government may not be able to regulate the price of because I'm the one that built my house. I know what it cost me to build my house. So if you can't afford my house, I mean, you look for another place, right? But then there's a way government can come in to maybe regulate the other fees that come with it. So yes, rent issue in Owerri, not just in Owerri, Nigeria, Lagos, everywhere is an important issue everybody needs to talk about, and government needs to step up and do something.
Let me dive in on something you just said. You said I was the one that built my house, so I was having a conversation with a couple of students one time, and one of the things they complained bitterly, that was as of last year as well, one of the things they complained bitterly, student from Imo State University to be precise, was the high rate of rent and apartments. Imagine where you are asking the students to pay 500,000 when that student was paying 150,000 when their parents got that house for them, or when they even started living there, and then you're increasing it to 500,000. So one of the conversation, or rather the reaction that we got to that conversation was, some landlords actually called in and they were like, that is my house. I built that house with my hard-earned money. That house I built it with my. What do you mean? If I say you pay 500,000, you will pay 500,000. They were angry. I'm not even joking. It was a radio show, and they were like, if you were not going to pay 500,000, leave my house.
That's what they do. Yeah,
and that is so annoying. So one of the things that I sort of accepted, painfully accepted, is the fact that there ought to be a temerity, because of obviously, where do you expect children to get 500,000 naira to pay rent, right? But then again, the temerity or the audacity that that those landlords kept on hammering on will only be coming from a set of another set of students who are getting their money illegitimately, right? And let's even talk about it.
Okay.
The internet fraudsters.
Yes.
Most of them have bedeviled our school system. They are there. They are not going to school. They're just literally just, going up and down. Maybe not even going up and down this time around, but being on their phone, on their laptops, and then they're acquiring certain amounts of money that will be very, very wild for anybody to imagine that a young person can acquire. Now, let's talk about the fact that this set of humans have sort of made life quite difficult, because some landlords now puts a certain amount of money on rent. And obviously, an average Nigerian cannot afford that. Not with the sort of job that you're having. Minimum wage is just how much? 70,000.
Yeah.
So how do you expect someone to save 500,000, 600,000 naira in a year so that they can pay you their rent? There is a very, very decaying factor, which is the fact that we have internet fraudsters who have decided to make life very difficult.
Exactly. So just like you mentioned, and most landlords say it, if you can't pay the amount they've given you, leave. And definitely there are people willing to pay.
Yeah.
The house I mentioned earlier, they've not finished the house, but some persons have already packed in. When I went there, I saw cars and I was like, okay, I knew what was happening, right? So and even to come to talk about it, I was having the conversation before we started. When you talk about job opportunities in Imo State, how many job opportunities do we have here, right? How many companies employ, let's say, 2,000 persons, and how many of those can pay up to 500K in a month? I mean, I've struggled to count 10 indigenous companies in Imo State that employ up to 2,000. If there are, I don't know, but I'm struggling to. And even what are the traveling industries? There is hospitality industry. How many persons can a hotel employ? Highest 200, 100 persons, and how much can they pay? Right. So, the internet fraudster of a thing. Yes, I mean, it's everybody now. Even in secondary schools, you're even university. You're even going too far. Secondary schools. People are pressing in secondary schools. Remember during the COVID-19 lockdown, they were doing I've forgotten what they used to call it. Benefit boys. You see even secondary school students driving cars, right?
Yeah.
So most landlords now have the notion that, okay, I mean, every young person is into fraud, right? Once they be the house, because they know if you can't get it, the other people will come and get it. So yes, but then like I said, governments may not be able to do anything with fixing rent for people. I am the person that built my house. I know the facilities I use. I know the quality of materials I use. I know so most houses now come with some facilities, right? The kitchen gets the cupboard and all of that. So the cabinet. So I know how much I spend, and I have. So I mean, housing sector is a privatized. So government doesn't really have any influence on it. So I think it's a wake-up call for I mean, maybe I can speak to the conscience of our landlords if they were here.
Will you appeal to them? Will your speech appeal to their conscience?
I can only try, right? So I'm appealing to them that they should be merciful. You talk about minimum wage. I know a graduate as of last year that earns 30,000 naira. A graduate, she works in a law firm as a secretary in a law firm. She earns 30,000 naira. How many companies even pay 70? So, okay, let's even go with the 70,000 minimum wage. If you earn 70,000 in a month, in 12 months, you have 840,000 naira, and you are spending 500K for rent. How much do you have? We are just using 500K as an estimate or what have you. So, yeah. So, but then every youth is not involved. I've seen youth that are actually making their money legitimately, right? There are people that they're into tech, they're into real estate, and I mean they are thriving for themselves. People that are involved in buying and selling that thrive for themselves. But then I think the government can step in. Probably we can have what we call rent ceiling. Maybe rent should not exceed this particular level, right? It shouldn't exceed this particular amount and all of that. Enugu State, for instance, so I was mentioning. So aside for the rent, so for people that are looking for a new house, I mentioned how they will have to ask you have to pay for caution fee. With that caution fee is in case anything spoils in the house,
which you never get back.
Which most
I don't know of anybody that has paid for caution fee.
I got that money back, right? So you pay caution fee, you pay management fee, you pay agency fee, and this money is almost half of the money. So Enugu State did something recently. They were trying to do something. They've not actually finalized on it, right? So early last year, the Enugu State House Assembly, they wanted to amend the landlord and tenancy agreements. There's a law around landlord and tenancy. So they want to, this issue of agency fee, lawyer fee, and they want to put it at a maximum of 10%. And I think that is okay. I gave the instance I was giving the house I saw that was 1 million naira and agency fee was 150k. Everything was almost 50%. So Enugu State is trying to do something. They've not passed the law yet, right? But they've started. They wanted. I don't know what is happening with that law yet. What with the bill or is the law exist? They are trying to amend a part of the law. So they wanted to put it at the maximum rate of 10%. So whatever service charge you're taking, agency fee, management fee, caution fee, it must not pass that 10%.
I think Lagos State also introduced
that. So I think it's something we can also emulate here in Imo State, right? If we can have, because agents are actually the ones like me. I want to join that business.
Let's talk about agents. Those people literally just want to suck your blood.
True.
So it's a lion eats goats business. You know, you see a house. I was having a conversation with someone. She said, she has been looking for a house. And I said, what's up? You know, this girl has been going round with her own leg looking for a house around Oji.
She doesn't want to use an agent.
Yeah, she doesn't want to use an agent. She said she doesn't want to pay the agent fee. And I said, don't worry, my sister, you still pay because some landlord already have this.
Even situation. When you find the house yourself, you still have to pay for the agent fee.
You will pay the agent fee. Maybe the landlord's brother will tell you that I'm the agent of this house. You're going to pay. But let's talk about agents. The agents are making life unbearable for citizens. And when I say it is a lion eats goats system that is being operated, I mean, it is how they are so unwilling to drop the price.
The price, yeah.
Tell me why I will look for a house that is around 600,000 and an agent will tell me that there are 5.
Exactly.
We have 5. You will share the money. And you're like, Oga, I beg. How do you expect me to pay almost half my rent just because you guys are 5 and you will share the money? Now, before sharing the money, do you know you're going to pay what is it called?
Inspection fee. Before they take you to the house, you have to pay inspection fee.
And for some people, they even have a form. You will fill your
form.
So
I mean, a lot of people may not be happy with what we're doing here today. I mean, I have a lot of friends that are into agents, right?
Talk to them, share this video. See, people, your friend is saying it is a bad thing.
So I mean, I think it's almost everybody now is a land agent or is a house agent because it's what is getting people money, right? That is, I mean, how to get money. But then, like I mentioned, the only way the government can come in is to have a law that has what Enugu is trying to do, has a maximum of what people can take. But then I also think...
But sorry, just to cut in a little bit with the law that you mentioned, the 10% on...
Maximum,
10% maximum.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But then we've also met agents who would go and meet the landlord and ask him to up his rent. And then when he ups his rent, you have no choice than to pay a certain amount of money because the landlord who is supposed to be giving you a house for 600,000 is saying that you have to pay him 1.5 million just because the agent wants to get something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that is where the whole system comes in. Aside from that, how do we checkmate that, the housing system in Nigeria, because it's not an Owerri thing anymore. Even though I honestly think that the housing system or the what's it called, the rent system in Owerri is really, really on the high side, but it's not compared to Abuja.
Yeah, true. It's Lagos. Yeah,
with Lagos,
but those places have more opportunities, have more job opportunities, right? I mean, you get. I was this time analysis I was making. How many companies employ 2,000 persons and pay up to 500k? But then in Lagos, you can actually see opportunities that are well paying, right? So in those places you can understand. But here there are not so many job opportunities that one could say, okay, here is a booming area, there's industrialization here, there's manufacturing sector here, and all of that. So how can we checkmate your question on how can we checkmate that? Well, I wouldn't know. I'm thinking, right? Can't we develop for our people into technology? Can't we develop a technology, an app where if I'm a landlord, I have a house and it's open for rent, I can put it out there, and somebody can go to that app. I think I've seen something like that. Last time I went to Futo, I went to Futo for student area. I think I saw, and if you go to their roundabout, there's a signpost here. There's an app a student developed. I wouldn't know if it's a student where people can use for house hunting there. I don't know if it works. I just saw it and I thought, oh, this is wonderful. And I think I'll actually pitch that idea to somebody before. So that's the only way we can boycott it, because technology can actually help us do that. So if I have, but that has its own limitation. But let me talk about the advantages there. If as a landlord, I have a house, I put it out there. Someone who sees the house sees how much I put there. It happens in the West. If you want to go abroad to school, everything is on the school website. I mean, you can even literally be here and pay for your accommodation. As a student, once you're getting there, you are moving into your accommodation, right? Because they use technology. There's a website, there's an app for that. So I'm thinking we can leverage technology, but then the limitation will be how many landlords are technology inclined. How many of them know how to use these things, right? How many of them are even ready to even adapt? Because we have the older generation don't want to adapt to technology, right? They like the old way of doing things, right? So
we just have few percent of them who are willing to do that.
So I think we can have a technology like that, but then if an agent goes to the bank to negotiate with the landlord and increase, again, there's virtually nothing we can do, right? But I think government can step in. There's a way government can step in. And I was going to talk about that. There are 3 ways I think government can step in. I've mentioned the first one, which is having a law that puts a cap on how much agencies can take agents can take, management can take, caution fee can take. That's one. Another way is to open up other places. Now, open up other places. I was having an analysis with somebody here in Imo State, Owerri, right? Aside Owerri North, South, Owerri West, Owerri Municipal, maybe Olu or Kigwe, maybe some parts of MBC. I think out of 27 local governments we have, just about 7 or 9 that are open, right? You get? Yeah. But then if you develop other places, for instance now, if I'm from Mberi, the road is currently, they're actually facing the road now. I went there last time. They are facing the road. But the last time I went there, the road around last year, the road was terrible, right? They have to start passing through to corners, people's compound to get back to the road, and before you get to where you're going. If the government can face internal roads in other places, right, it will help to decongest. Because why it seems that the rent is going up, because there are many people looking for houses, right? But then if places in rural places, if they have roads, someone like me, I don't mind living in the outskirts of the town. If it costs me like 500 or 1,000 every day to get to work, and go back, I would gladly be coming from wherever I want to come, from my village, right? I don't mind. As long as it can take me maybe 30 minutes, the road is good, there's security. I mean, it will help. So when people begin to move back, if government does internal roads in some of these communities, open up other LGS, when people begin to move back, it will help to bring down, because the people demanding for the houses are not enough. The law of demand and supply. So, but when the demand is not much, landlords will be forced to reduce their rent. So I think that's one thing the government can do in rural communities: open up, build construct internal roads, even pipe-borne water. And someone like me, once I get back from work, I don't go out. Weekends, I don't go out, right?
Also, homebody.
What do I need? Why do I need to live in the town, right? If I have anything to do, I pay my way to, even in the West, right? You can be working in London and live. I have a friend. He was schooling in University of Northampton, but he was living in London. I was like, so how do you navigate it? Just train. You enter train within 1 hour, you get to where you're going. So if the city is quite expensive for you, you can live outskirts of the city. But then the problem people have is that those communities, those outskirts of the city, they don't have good roads, they don't have pipe, there is no water and all of that. So if government can do that, it will help to decongest the cities and reduce rent. Tell you what the government can do is what we call having building housing, right? I saw a picture recently on X, on Twitter, Benin Republic. They are building a 20,000 units low-cost housing unit in Benin Republic. And I mean, why I saw it because of I Show Speed that went to Benin Republic, and since then they've been leveraging the PR and they've been showing so many good things about the country, right? So, and I was like, this is beautiful, right? The government is building 20,000 housing units, right? And if the government does something like that, when was the last time we even had something like that? I don't know if we have any. I don't think we have. Do we have housing estate built by the government that people can go and live in, right? So if government can build housing estates, right, that have 20,000 housing units, and let's say probably maybe do it a 1-bedroom flat each and charge 500k each, 500,000 times 20,000 housing units will give you 10 billion naira yearly. So if government does that, one, it has solved the housing problem. Secondly, it is creating an income for the state government, right? So every year you are sure of 10 billion naira coming from the housing, the low cost housing you bet from for individuals and other people, right? So I think it's something the government can do. The law, they opening up our communities by building roads and having this housing estate, I think is a good thing. If we have this if we have for me, the priority, if we can open up our communities, because I mean, if you go to most communities, you see fine houses that are wasting.
Very beautiful
houses that are wasting, right? I mean, I have a comfortable house in the village that if you ask me to go and stay, I will stay. But there's no network in my village, so
exactly. Now that you even mentioned the network, aside from just even building internal roads, most of the one of the things that lots of people, I mean, for you, it might not be a problem, you know, to navigate your village to work and all of that to be coming to town. For other people, just the stress of going back and forth can be really, really daunting, right?
Yeah.
So aside from just even building internal roads, can we even have, I'm using Imo State as a case study here. Can we have, you know, industries built in some of these places? Can we have companies who are willing to even go to their communities and build, so that people around their communities can even work in those companies? That way we have lesser people in town and, you know, more people doing, you know, wonderful things in their various communities. And it can also help curb this. All right, most importantly, let us highlight on greed. You know, it is one thing for you to have this and you're giving it at a certain price. And it's one thing for you to have this and you're giving it for a very, very exorbitant price just because you want to make more money. So let's talk about the greed. The greed on the side of the landlords, greed on the side of the agents, and even the lawyers. Let's talk about that.
So, like I say, greed is something that is personal, right? There is no particular one way to say we want to. Government cannot have a policy to curb greed, right? The only policy, although I mentioned, is putting a cap on it, right? But then it's a personal decision you would have to make not to be greedy, right? I mean, we've had stories how Nigerians make it difficult to trust them. We've seen stories of people who were abroad, they were sending money to their siblings or somebody back home, or even set up a business, right? And you come back, people run down your business. If you're not there to run your business, people run down your business. So it's a cultural thing, or is a mental thing everyone need to take cognizance of, and you have to take your own step to want to stop it, right? The only way government can come in, like I mentioned, is to have a cap on how much agents can take. But then, like you mentioned, the problem we have in Nigeria, people always have their way. If there's a law, they always find a way to want to break that law, right? So it's a personal decision. If you want people to trust us more, and if you want our society to get better, right? Not just about making money. If you want, I mean, there is high level of greed, and this person that is greedy, that is hiking the price of rent or the price of agency fee. Once he gets to government to move, he will still continue. He will siphon money.
Of course.
So it starts from these little things, right? From there, when he gets bigger opportunities, you would want to swallow up all the money. So it's a personal decision, right? And it's something we need to do as a people. If I'm not greedy, you're not greedy. 10 persons in this room are not greedy. 100 persons here are not greedy. If we show that attribute of us, it has a multiply effect on other people, right? People can emulate us and maybe reduce deal with their own greed. But like I mentioned, greed is a personal something. Every human being has an atom of greed in them, but then it's how you let it overrun you, how you let it overtake you, over maybe that matters.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Chimezie Ebosi. This conversation was the highlight of my day. Thank you so much. I mean, we learned quite a lot. Let us put all of this that has been said into action. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you watch our other videos that we've already dropped on our channel. And make sure you spread the gospel. Greed is bad. Landlords, please have mercy upon us.
Mercy upon us.
Thank you so much for watching. Bye.